What's a life hack that sounds fake but is incredibly effective? Story 1. If there's someone you really don't like, but it's important to get on well with, do something kind for them. I had a colleague I absolutely could not stand, but we had to work together and it was stressing me out. Then her pet bird died, and I'd just seen a cute budgie pattern from my favorite knit toy designer, so I decided to make her one that looked like the picture she showed me of her pet as a sort of keepsake keychain thingy. And doing something kind sort of hacked my lizard brain into thinking I liked her because we do nice things for people we like, yes? She still got on my nerves on the daily, but the stress of that was suddenly a lot less. Story 2. Stop talking shit about yourself during your inner dialogue and start saying nice things. Whether you mean what you're saying or not doesn't matter. Your unconscious mind absorbs that and it becomes the de facto way you see yourself. Eventually, your positive self-reinforcement will start to take root, and you'll see yourself in the positive light that you should. If you'd have told me this info 10 years ago, I would have said it's woo-woo bullshit. It is not. It actually works. Story 3. If you're feeling anxious or nervous, chew gum. It sounds weird, but it actually tricks your brain into thinking you're safe and calm because your body associates eating with being relaxed. Plus, it helps you focus and stay in the moment, which can really take the edge off in stressful situations. Story 4. When you introduce someone, add in a compliment specific about them, like, "This is Lila. She makes the best cookies every Christmas." It works very well because people will remember you simply because you thought well of them and are more willing to do you a favor. Story 5. Don't put it down, put it away. I have a habit where if I get something, say a screwdriver, and use it, I put it down thinking I'll put it up when I go back to the garage. Then 2 weeks later, I'm looking for the tool, and it's not where it's supposed to be. Dishwasher emptying is the same. Don't take all the dishes out and put them on the counter, then put them away. Just put it away. Story 6. Just get a notebook and write in it. Write about problems. Write about good things. Write about shit you need to do or remember. Track accomplishments. Write goodbye letters or apologies to people you'll never see again. Write plans for the future. Write to your past self. Put the weird thoughts on paper instead of saying them out loud. Think about something you want and then write the steps to actually get there. Learn to organize your thoughts and improve your clarity. Evaluate your strengths and weaknesses. Try to figure what were or weren't responsible for, the things you can change and what's out of your control, what you really love, what people really love or loved about you, why you love them, why you don't anymore, what things you miss and why they're gone, what the little things that make you happy are, what you eat every day, how you manage your time, how you should manage your time. The potential is limitless. For practical purposes, emotional growth, creativity, streamlining your life, passing the time, just get a notebook and start using it for something. Story 7. Highway construction worker here. We understand your frustration with traffic jams when work is being done. Instead of yelling at us, slow down and say thank you or you guys are doing great. I've seen a massive bump in productivity out of the crews, which in turn speeds the process up. Also, a lot of things are out of our control with materials. Story 8. You can direct other people's walking paths using only your eyes. Say you're on a collision course with some other person walking towards you. If you look just to the right of them, the other person will subconsciously use this as a cue and veer to your left, and vice versa. Seems too simple to work, but it does. And it's a power trip and a half every time. Story 9. Putting your phone in airplane mode before charging, it can make your battery charge faster. It sounds like a trick from a sci-fi movie, but it really works because it stops the phone from using power for background tasks and connections while it charges. Story 10. The best life hack I ever read on Reddit was to heat up a metal spoon with near boiling water and press it against a mosquito bite for less than a second to completely neutralize any itching or irritation for at least 6 hours. The pain is temporary and short-lasting, and it's totally worth it. Nowadays, they sell electronic pens that essentially do this. Try it if you never have before. It amazingly works and is a lifesaver for mosquito magnets like myself. Story 11. I know it sounds crazy, and it doesn't even sound like a life hack, but a lot of people seem to struggle with this one, and it can be a real game changer, but just do the thing you need to do right now. Don't put it off. That's it. Just stop what you're doing and just do it. Stop thinking about it and just do it. Get it over with. The sooner you do it, the sooner you can get back to what you want to do. Story 12. If you have a lot of money for your wedding ceremony, go extra cheap on the ceremony and spend the rest going nuts on the honeymoon. You will create unique memories of romance and quality time that will start your marriage on the right foot, and it's money invested on you as a couple instead of trying and failing to please external people, flex debt capacity. Story 13. If you get pee shy, rather than thinking about peeing, just focus on your breathing. Take a slow, deep breath all the way in, then slowly let out your entire breath. Usually by the second exhale, your brain forgot about the anxiety and you're literally back to business. This also works with most anxiety-stressful situations. Controlling your breathing takes your brain off of autopilot, which often means it realizes it can lower the warning signals. Story 14. When you feel yourself starting to get a cold, that itchy feeling in the back of your throat, put a little hydrogen peroxide in your ears. Contrary to popular belief, the cold isn't transmitted through the mouth by coughing, it's the ears. Turns out the human ear has all the moisture and everything that makes for the perfect breeding grounds for the common cold virus. Once you get that itchy feeling, it means the virus is currently breeding, and once that feeling is gone, it's already made its way to the rest of your body. You get sick, and you just have to wait it out. But hydrogen peroxide will kill the virus before it becomes a full-on infection. I've tried it several times, and the only time it didn't work is when I was too late, but I tried it anyway. Story 15. It's an old traditional Chinese medicine life hack that's worked for me many times. When having a bad headache, sometimes I don't want to take painkillers. I make very hot water, put it in a basin or pot, sit comfy on my couch, and put my feet in. It needs to be as hot as I can stand, so I usually have to tap my feet on the surface for a few minutes before I can put them in. For the next 15 to 30 minutes, just watch a movie, text, sit there with my eyes closed, whatever. When the water becomes room temp, I dry off my feet, put socks on, and go to bed. Socks off for bed, lol. It pulls the stuck chi from the head and draws it out through the feet and cooling water. If it's a really bad headache, I refill the hot water and do it again. I don't have migraines, so can't attest to that, but this has helped me and numerous friends over the years. Story 16. If you are blanking on someone's name, introduce them to someone whose name you know. For instance, you see the man and he makes eye contact with you. You think, OMG, I know him. What the hell is his name? Make your way over to him with someone who you know and make a half introduction. Say to the man whose name you forgot, hey, good to see you. This is my friend Sarah. Wait, in the awkward space for a moment. One of two scenarios plays out. Either the man will introduce himself or Sarah will ask his name. The man now introduces himself to Sarah. Hi, Sarah, I'm Anthony. Then you say, OMG, I'm sorry, Anthony, Sarah, Anthony. Now you have his name and didn't embarrass yourself by asking him to repeat his name. Story 17. Speaking English in a foreign accent is a great hack to get around learning a language. Often the locals do know some English, but not your weird-ass accent. Making it more familiar will make it easier for them to understand what you're saying. Also, speak with your entire body, very expressive and emotive. Story 18. Stop talking shit about yourself during your inner dialogue and start saying nice things. Whether you mean what you're saying or not doesn't matter. Your unconscious mind absorbs that, and it becomes the de facto way you see yourself. Eventually, your positive self-reinforcement will start to take root, and you'll see yourself in the positive light that you should. If you'd have told me this info 10 years ago, I would have said it's woo-woo bullshit. It is not. It actually works. Story 19. If you grocery shop for a family, have everyone in your family download the same shopping list and log into it on everyone's phone using the same account. That way, everyone can add to the same list and anyone can do the shopping. When my family goes on a trip, I create a Google Doc that has the flight info and everything I've booked and share it with everyone so they can download it to their phones. That way I'm not getting constant questions about what's planned and everyone knows where to go if we get separated. Story 20. Aluminum takeout containers work fine in the microwave. Hear me out. I used to work at a restaurant in college, and one of the other servers had saved some of his family meal in one of the aluminum to-go containers. After our shift, I saw him popping it into the microwave and I ran up to him to stop him, knowing that any type of metal in the microwave was a bad idea. He just shrugged and told me it was an old catering trick and popped it in the microwave anyway and no sparks. I've put aluminum to-go containers in the microwave ever since, have never had an issue. I'll still watch it for a second just in case I see a spark, but no, never. And I have no idea why. Just don't cover them. Aluminum foil, on the other hand. Yeah, that's a no-no. Story 21. When exiting a parking lot that fronts two roads, always exit into the less busy road, usually a side street first, then proceed from the less busy road. In the event of an accident, the rules of the road will always apply this way. If you exit a parking lot and get into a fender bender, there are usually questions about who has the right of way, which can be a mess going from a private lot to a public road. Better to limit the risk by going on to the less busy road, then you are just following the rules of the road. Bonus when the aid tree has a stoplight to make it easier to cross opposing traffic. Story 22. If you are ever inflating an air mattress but don't have a pump, grab a garbage bag. You wave the bag in the air a few times until it inflates full off air, then pinch off the end with your hand. Bring it up to the fat opening of the mattress and hold it as tight as you can and use your body to squish the air into the mattress. You can inflate a mattress in minutes. Story 23. If you can't fall asleep, just think of random things for a while. Allegedly, this imitates dreaming and makes the brain fall asleep. For example, banana. Imagine a banana for a split second. Car door. Imagine any car door for a split second. Agriculture. Imagine some fields or a tractor or something. Purple, thirst, printer. Continue for 20, 30 words at least. It works for me, and apparently they teach this method in the U.S. Army. The concept is called the cognitive shuffle. Google it for more details and variations of the exercise. Story 24. If you find it hard to get things done, break them down into their simplest and easiest components. Create easy, achievable goals out of those components and build up tasks from there. An example could be emptying the dishwasher. You know that you have to empty it, but you feel sluggish and don't want to do it. Start by setting a goal of getting 2 dishes out of the dishwasher. If you still feel too sluggish, set up another goal of 2 dishes. At a point, your brain will realize that it isn't so bad to empty the dishwasher. Another example could be that you want to go for a run, but you just can't get off the couch. Start by setting the goal of standing up. Then, make another goal of getting your sportswear on. Then go outside, start walking, and then think, well, I'm already out here walking in my sportswear, might as well start running. Story 25. If you're trying to develop the habit of waking up early, set your thermostat to make your home uncomfortably warm at the exact time you want to wake up, hot enough that it's difficult to stay in bed. The discomfort will motivate you to get up and start your day. Once the habit is formed, you can adjust the thermostat back to a more comfortable temperature. Story 26. If you play games or sports a lot, don't ever quit the match for reasons of surrendering. Always finish the match game, no matter how much it seems like you are inevitably going to lose. This will alter your behavior towards every challenge you have in life. Story 27. If you're having trouble motivating yourself to do something, only do the first subtask and speak to yourself. I'm only just doing subtask and not full task. For example, if you need to sort your mail and invoices, just take your file folder out of your shelf and say to yourself, I'm not sorting my mail, I'm only just putting this folder on my desk, pretending to speak to your brain if it would be person that's watching your steps trying to stop you from doing tasks, and you try not to make it angry. It will be way easier to motivate yourself to do the next task after the first step. Sometimes not right after it, but maybe later that day you will notice that the file folder is on the desk already, and you can finish the task or do another round of that routine for the next subtask. I'm not finishing sorting my mail, I'm only just paying the single invoice and put it in the file folder that's already in my desk. Even if it's objectively not really possible to lie to yourself, it somehow tricks your brain into skipping having a big negative emotion towards doing the full task, which would result in procrastinating. Story 28. Trouble falling asleep. Think of a random word, first that comes to mind, that starts with the letter A. Slowly count off 8 seconds and then think of an unrelated word that starts with B. Continue through the alphabet until you fall asleep. I struggled for years with falling asleep, but doing this I rarely get past G, and often am out by D. Sometimes I start at M or at Z and work backwards or skip vowels. The main idea is to have the words really be random and unrelated to one another in any meaningful way. Supposedly, it is forcing your brain into the kind of thought pattern it naturally goes through in early dream states. Insomnia hacks if you have racing thoughts at night. Think of your bed as a thought bubble. Only calming thoughts are allowed. So when a racing thought comes through, you just tell it it's unfortunately not allowed in your thought bubble. Another weird insomnia hack. Pick a 5-letter word. Don't stress it. A 4 or 6-letter word will do just the same. For each letter of the word, you're going to visualize something that starts with that letter. Example, tacos, trail, apple, cat, orange, skate. Really visualize the thing. Keep doing this with more words until you fall asleep. I've been doing this as I'm trying to fall asleep for the past 2 weeks. The first night it took a while, but now I can barely get past the first 2 letters. It's great. It's Story 29. 1. Life hack that sounds totally fake but works wonders is using a rubber band to open a stubborn jar lid. Just wrap the rubber band around the edge of the lid and suddenly you've got extra grip and leverage that makes twisting it off a breeze. It sounds too simple to be true, but it's incredibly effective. And it saves you from resorting to extreme measures like banging the jar on the counter or asking someone stronger for help. Story 30. If you want to chill a drink quickly, wrap a wet paper towel around the bottle or can and place it in the freezer. In about 15 minutes, your drink will be cold. The wet paper towel speeds up the cooling process by increasing the surface area exposed to the cold air, which helps the drink cool down much faster than it would on its own. It's a handy trick when you're in a hurry and need a cold drink fast. Story 31. If you have the hiccups, get a glass of water and a paper towel. Fold the paper towel so it's 2 layers thick and place it over the top of the cup, holding it there as you drink for no less than 5 seconds, repeating until the glass is empty. The paper towel will get wet and form to the shape of your upper lip, even getting the underside and top of your nose wet, which I theorize stimulates the mammalian dive reflex, as well as stimulating the diaphragm through swallowing but without taking in any additional air, thanks the seal of the paper towel against your mouth. So you could theoretically also cure hiccups by dunking your head in water and holding your breath, but I think my way is a bit more pleasant. It works 100% of the time in every person I've ever told about it. It was a trick I learned from my granny when I was a little kid, and now my wife, who had never heard of it and thought I was a lunatic when I suggested it, swears by it and shares it with people too. And she's a nurse practitioner. Story 32. Charge your phone in another room or very far away from you during the night and get a decent alarm clock. You can expand on this by putting your phone away during specific times of the day. Not in your pocket or drawer, but really away from you so you can't reach it. People usually don't notice how much of their time and thoughts are wasted just based on this small device. Putting it away for good does not just increase productivity, but during the night or right before sleeping, it helps to calm your body and mind down to get a good sleep. Story 33. How to stop crying, real and fake tears. If you're chopping onions and it's making you cry, chew gum. Heck, even pretending to chew gum, just doing the motions, when the tears are getting too much will stop them. If it's real tears you want to stop, do 2 sharp in-breaths and 1 big out-breath. You'll recognize the movement as one you've naturally done before when you're upset and sobbing. It calms you almost instantly. Hello, vagus nerve, and can stop a sob session from getting too much. Story 34. Exercise legit improves mood and gives more energy, while also alleviating depression and increasing lifespan, helps reduce the risk of dementia, Alzheimer's, and a large number of other age-related disorders and diseases. It literally makes your entire life easier, and it gets easier to do as you do it more often. It sounds too good to be true, but it's true. Story 35. I found that splashing cold water onto my face is one of the fastest and most reliable treatments for a headache. It doesn't completely cure a headache, but it can quickly take the edge off and keep me that much more functional when I need to be. Likewise, having a fan blow air in my face also seems to hold back the severity of some headaches. It's surprising how well these work considering how random they sound. Story 36. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have, especially if you work in a corporate environment. I worked in a logistics office, shipping requests, inbound receipt processing, customs documentation, etc. And just by putting on some nice slacks and a button-up collared shirt, I suddenly became the guy. I went from barely being noticed to being called into meetings and people respecting my opinions and actually listening to me. Things snowballed from there, and I eventually became a project manager. Perception is everything. **edit. I actually do field work now, mostly for travel and that sweet per diem pay and because project management blows. But that's a story for another day. Story 37. Non-excessive eating 1 meal a day, so not treating food like recreation. Treating it like what's it supposed to be, fuel. The pathology of humble eating is auspicious and beautifully becomes second nature as your stomach shrinks. You reach a stage, surprisingly quickly, where you just have no desire to eat more than necessary. Feels like auxiliary effort to overeat. With less unnecessary work for your body, you feel and flow so much better and everything's that much easier. Story 38. When you feel the need to sneeze but don't want to, put your index finger under your nose like a fake mustache and press against your philtrum, the space between your nose and top lip. I swear it works, for me, every time. The need to sneeze goes away. I saw it in cartoons all the time when I was a kid, but brushed it off as a silly cartoon joke until a classmate at uni told me the life hack. Story 39. If you tend to forget if you've done something like, say, locking the doors, just make a stupid face once you've finished the task. Whenever I leave the house and I need to remember if I close the garage, I just pretend to be a monster and look at the task completed while I basically growl at it. It works wonders for my OCD and makes it a bit easier to trust that I've done the task that my compulsions are telling me I haven't. Story 40. If your landlord issues a rent increase, you can accept it. Or if you've been a good tenant, you can negotiate. Keep your apartment clean and never be more than 3 days late to pay the rent, and they won't want to risk losing you. First, landlords hate vacancies. They lose money and often need to pay for some quick improvements like paint or new carpet. Second, landlords would prefer to keep a good tenant and avoid a new tenant with an unproven track record. When faced with a rent increase, agree that rents should go up, but not $300 per month. Provide proof of an alternative, more affordable rental less than a mile away. And explain that you could move, but that you would prefer not to. Counter the $300 increase with a $50 increase instead. They will usually come back at $150. Explain again that it's just too much, and offer $75. At this point, they'll usually accept $75 or come back at $100. Accept it.